जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजनर यशोदानंदन व्रजजनरंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अश्वस्य श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणार अरविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अश्वस्य श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सारस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gaurang, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Madhaya Krishna Prishthaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 7, Text number 31. Pashandapatha Vaishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gataya Ya Cha Yavatiha Guna Karmaja Pashandapata Vaishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gatayo Yascha Yavati Gunakarmaja Pashandapata Vaishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gatayo Yascha Yavatir Gunakarmaja Pashandapata Vaishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gatayo Yascha Yavatir Gunakarmaja. Please repeat.
Pashandapata Vishamyam Pratiloma Niveshanam Jivasya Gatayo Yascha
Yavati Gunakarmaja Nagati Vaishamyam Loba Niveshanam Niveshanam Yatayo Yasha Ati Gunakarmaja Ashandapata Vaishamyam Tiloma Niveshanam Shagatayo Yasha Yavati Gunakarmaja. Mataji Pashandya shamyam Atiloma niveshanam Divasya gatayo yasha Yavati guna karmaja Pashandapatha, the path of the faithless. Vaishamyam, imperfection by contradiction. Pratiloma, crossbreeding. Niveshanam, situation. Jivasya, of the living entities. Gataya, movements. Ya, as they are. Cha, also. Yavati, as many as. Guna, modes of material nature. Karmajaha, generated by different work. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding, and the movement of the living entities in various species of life, according to their particular modes of nature and work. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The combination of living entities in different modes of material nature is called crossbreeding. The faithless atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and thus their paths of philosophy are contradictory. Atheistic philosophies never agree with one another. Different species of life are evidence of varieties of mixture of the modes of material nature. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Saudutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Krim Yat Krupatam Mande Shri Guru Deenatarinam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschad Deshatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikas Swaminiti Namine Vansha Kalpaturu Bhesha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'll just read the translation once. Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding and the movement of the living entities in various species of life according to their particular modes of nature and work. Hare Krishna. So, there are three aspects described in this purport. Actually, the first one is about the imperfection and the contradictions of the atheists. Then the second aspect is about crossbreeding. And the third is how the living entities in various species of life, they get their body according to the modes in which they are in touch with. So, for the first one, we have a very lengthy answer in the Bhagavad Gita, which is like maybe one of my favorites, and even Prabhupada's, because he has quoted many times actually. The famous verse from the 7th chapter, 15th verse, Namam Guru Sritano Muda Prapadyante Naradhama Maya Aprita Jnana Asuram Bhava Mashrita. So if you see, this purport is the biggest in Bhagavad Gita. So, because like we know that Nityananda Prabhu himself, he comes like for two aspects, Prema Pracharan and Pashanda Dalan, isn't it? So even in the pastimes of Krishna, if you see, majority of his time goes in killing the demons actually. Because if you want to establish love towards the supremacy of Godhead, or if you want to establish Dharma, then Pashanda Dalan means the atheist should be subdued and the theist, they should get prominence. So, time and again we see in various Avatars, the Lord does this. So, taking cue from this verse, 7th chapter, 15th verse, I'll just go through the purport. You can just pull up that verse. So, very beautiful purport actually. So, the translation reads as is like, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So the purport reads, we'll majorly go through this verse and then the other aspects. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises, how is it that the educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of the ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti or liberation from the laws of material nature is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with great plans and perseverance for great many years and births. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering unto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. So this is a very nice statement that comes now. Those really learned leaders of societies like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyas, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlad, Bali, and later on Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others who are faithful philosophers because they are in line with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they are faithful. Politicians, they are real politicians because they think of the benefit of the general masses. Isn't it? Like if you see, there is no difference between the way Duryodhana wanted to rule the kingdom and Yudhishthira. But the only difference was Duryodhana was not inclined to dharma and Yudhishthira Maharaj was inclined fully to dharma. Because whatever his actions were in relation with dharma. So, then educators, if you see whatever knowledge is given in the scripture, even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the Gita or Bhagavatam, that is, that is real education because that is helping a jiva to come out of the three modes of material nature. Then the scientists, the spiritualists are the real scientists because they are telling you the science which can remove you out of the material miseries, isn't it? The material scientists are trying so much, every time they come up with a new invention, but every time material nature comes with a new disease or some form or other to retaliate that. So, etc. Surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all-powerful authority. So their only qualification is they are surrendered to all-powerful, the Supreme Authority, Supreme Person of Godhead. But now this other statement that Prabhupada is making is very beautiful. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and baffle the knowledge of the planning commissions. So they are always planning something or other, whether it is education, like they want these children to have sex education, but they don't tell the responsibilities that come with, with a man and woman uniting. It's like they are just training them to be cats and dogs actually. Or they comes with some inventions like the nuclear weapons. They are like, anytime if a fool, Prabhupada says, if his mind triggers, then he may use up this nuclear weapon and, there will be chaos for the whole society. Isn't it? Because, example, even in the Vedic times, there was like the greatest weapon, the Brahmastra, which would just go and hit the target. But the nuclear weapon is like destroying even the general masses who have nothing to do with, in the Vedic times, the Vedic kings, they were fighting among themselves on a field which is specifically meant, the battlefield, where they would fight and the citizens were there doing their daily duties. But here, a citizen is sitting in a city and having his breakfast or lunch, whatever, and then the bomb is bombarded and he's like, he's nowhere now and to the next moment. So this all planning they are making, everything they are destroyed actually. If you see agriculture also, they have destroyed. They wanted to grow grains and vegetables quickly. So they have come with pesticides and this chemical and that chemical. But after some time, the earth is not ready to give anything because it's totally destroyed. Then they have made various inventions, like example, we see the tractor. So the tractor is, one article came in the Back to Godhead, it's called the killer of the bulls. So how is it? It's not the killer of the bulls, but it is the killer of nourishment of the earth as well. Because the extensive weight it carries, that just compresses many microorganisms and they are destroyed in the process. And instead of nourishing the earth, destruction is caused. But by the bulls, if they are if they are being taken in the fields and they are tilling the ground, even if they are tired, they help the Mother Earth because they pass urine or they pass cow dung, which is, not cow dung, but they pass dung, so which is very useful. It nourishes the ground actually, isn't it? And nature has made all the arrangement. You don't need to go anywhere to gain nourishment actually. Like there are this earthworms are there who fertilize the land. Like India, sometimes many of them they do this earthworm farming also, means they grow more, bring more and more earthworms, isn't it? Even the cow dung is used. Yeah, so everything is utilized actually. So the cow urine, everything. In fact, the cow urine is various times along with water, it is let go into the fields and it nourishes. So nature's arrangement is perfect. But human beings, they are coming, like nowadays we are various places, like slowly, like we see in Rajasthan, we can't grow anything worth, almost. So like that, if we go on using fertilizers, one day the land becomes so much dependent, either and at a certain point it will stop producing as well. So whatever we see, whatever invention they are coming up with, it's like destroying actually. Even general we take that they do operation of woman for, when she's pregnant and to get the child out of the womb. So they made it so difficult. Yeah. But in the Vedic times, they like sometimes the woman would be, giving birth to the child and right in the house, means they knew various techniques. And it was not that then after 15 days or 1 month or after maybe 6 months she is not in the hospital. Next day she is ready to go and do work. So everything they have spoiled. So their planning commission is all, total failed commission actually. So further Prabhupada says that the atheist plan makers are described herein by the word dushkritana or miscreants. Kirtana means one who has performed meritorious work. So they are intelligent. They have this intelligence because how come they are coming with this so nice inventions, Prabhupada is saying in one lecture that we are not against technology. This Prabhupada shorts, one of these Prabhupada memories I heard, some Anand Brahmachari was saying that technology, it's causing chaos. But then Prabhupada says, we are using this technology, we are using this mic, we are using this, example, this mobile to telecast our lectures, and so many people are listening. So it's beneficial. So he is not condemning that. But then it should be used for the right purpose, isn't it? So many things, like nowadays we have AI, it's following you like a shadow. You see some feed and immediately the same thing comes to you. Immediately the same things come in your feed constantly. So they are intelligent, no doubt about that, isn't it? But then they are not using their brain, they are not screwing their brains to, connect with the Supreme Lord, because, the Supreme Lord has given the formula in the Bhagavad Gita. So the thing is, they don't surrender because of this nature of lording it over material nature. They think themselves to be the lord of everything that they are doing, and they think that everything is meant for their enjoyment. So Prabhupada says that they are intelligent, but then their intelligence, further he says that this atheistic plan master is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Dushkritina. which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. So they are basically like Hiranyakashipu. He did so much austerity. If you would have surrendered to the Supreme Lord, you would be given the task of maybe preaching in some, in the lower planets or somewhere, to the Asuras, you would have given this Shakti to preach. But then he used it against the Supreme Lord. And what happened at the end? In spite of so many blessings being taken by him from Brahma, he was destroyed. So, further Prabhupada says, in the Gita it is clearly mentioned that the material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It has no independent authority. It works as a shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. So they don't know how this nature is working, who is beyond that, and they just go on challenging that. They come up with various theories, like example, if you see the Darwin's theory of evolution, they say we came from amoeba, or we came from, we progress and we become from amoeba, we further become monkeys, and then from monkeys we become humans, but still monkeys are existing, isn't it? So these are just theories actually. Prabhupada says that they use if, but nowhere in Bhagavad Gita we find Krishna using if or but. This is the language of the atheists actually. So they are coming up with so many theories, like the Big Bang theory, or they say that from explosion so much was created. If you see, so many paintings are there in this temple. Somebody will say that some paint and brush was lying and it exploded and this painting happened. So nobody will believe it, isn't it? Yeah. Or nobody is in the kitchen and they have put some ingredients, left there some ingredients, and all ingredients mix up, and we give they are offered to the Lord and they give you a very good taste. So all this is foolish ideas, Once they are like, they tried this explosion thing, and they spent millions of the, public tax money, they'll spend like anything, and they wasted actually. And then they say, that we should provide to the general masses, and they again tax the general masses more and more. So, but still material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord under illusion and the modes of passion and ignorance. So they are not under the mode of goodness. That is the reason. All his plans are baffled, as in the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravan. Yeah, so these were the greatest of atheists, and still they failed, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Duskritana or miscreants are of 4 different types. So Prabhupada is categorizing them very detailed. This purport is very beautiful actually. When we go for book distribution, sometimes this thought comes that which category he falls in. Because we see they show this nature. Like yesterday we saw that nature, and I'll just express that later. The Mudas are those who are grossly foolish, like hard-working beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves, and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. The humble beast is made to work very hard by the master. The ass does not really know for whom he works day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but his braying only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruity worker who does not know for whom he should work. He does not know, this is the position of the foolish fruity worker who does not know for whom he should work. He does not know that karma action is meant for yajna, sacrifice. So we see that whenever we go for book distribution, like yesterday we went for book distribution, and most of them, when they open their doors, they're saying we are in a meeting, or we are in a call, and can you come back on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and this day and that day. Yeah. So just 1 or 2 minutes, or if one of this guy, he had 15 minutes for his call to come, and still he wanted to just, make us move from there. So like that, they are working hard day and night. Like we went to various houses, and various houses are locked. So nowadays in India, if you go, at least you'll find the housewife or the son or daughter. But here, both husband and wife are working like anything. They are slogging like asses actually. Because the ass, he slogs like so much. Like in India, the washermen, they use this ass like anything. They put all this heavy clothes on him, or sometimes they are made to bring sand from the banks of the river. So like that, ass works like anything. And what does he get? They put a carrot in front of him. He's running after the carrot like that. Like this Dushkritinas, they are running after this carrot of happiness, that we will have bank balance and in the old age we will enjoy. But what's the guarantee? Before old age you will be living, you may die. Or maybe like one of the greatest asses in India, Dalpat Singhania. He was the richest person in India at one point. Now he's staying in a rented flat because they left this power of, he gave all his property to his son when he was leaving actually. And now his son has removed him out of this house. But the same people, when we go to them, like yesterday we went to one Raju. So this Raju had one dog, Kobe. He is written on outside it is written, I love Kobe. So he came with his dog, hugging him and so much things. So this Raju, if he was in India, never he would have been Kobe or Dobe, anything. So, but he came, and then we told him about Bhagavatam. He is also saying the same language. I'm busy, busy, busy. And finally he agreed. And he was so miser that we had to use the mercy for him and give him this Bhagavatam, because somehow, he was like some piety he must have done, some devotional aspect he must have done, or sometime he must have welcomed some devotees in an appropriate way, and he got this piety to get this mercy, and he got this Bhagavatam. But he was very miser. I was telling Amay Atma Prabhu, that very miser this person is, conjuice, kripan. So like, example, a miser person, he will not, even if he has money, he will not like to spend like that. So what is $275 of Bhagavatam that we take? Most of the Indians, they are software engineers. They must be earning like the minimum wage. I asked somebody is like starting from $7 or something. Even if you get $20, isn't it, for a day, or 20, 25, you are making for the Bhagavatam almost in a day. If you are making 20, it's like 8 hours. If you were almost half of the money, or 60%. But they are like, I said that many times you tell that, you think like you didn't go to work one day. But they are not, then I have to ask my wife. The last Bhagavatam we distributed, he's saying, my wife, he was fearful about his wife. But somehow we told him the glories of Bhagavatam, and then he's saying, okay. And then he took the Bhagavatam. Many times they give this reason, my wife is interested in this, but she's not at home. She may be, or even the children speak the same language. One that Bhagavatam we distributed, the last guy, his son was saying, maybe they can come when mother is coming home. She was outside. So he called and asked her. She's saying, no. In Telugu, she was saying no. But that man was convinced, for his child's benefit, or Bhagavatam, means he was interested. So, like that, these Dushkritinas, they are working so hard day and night. Like we see in India, some people, they are working in Bombay, but they are from the city Pune. So anybody who has traveled from Pune, it takes 3 to 4 hours to travel. So what happens? This guy, he gets up early morning at 4 o'clock. Brahma Murta, he gets up. But if you tell him, come on a Sunday for Mangal Aarti, saying at least one day I'm getting, so I should spend that time with the family. Yeah, he should really spend time with his family. But you are getting up early morning, what your family, 4 o'clock, they are not going to get up. Only, so 4 o'clock he gets up. Then he takes bath, his wife makes food for him, and nice full lunch she makes normally. And some breakfast also she gives. And then he catches he knows the timing of the bus. The first bus he catches to save his money, because if he misses the bus, another bus is after 20 minutes and he will not reach to catch the train going for Mumbai, the fastest train, the first one, Siagar or Deccan, whichever he gets. And then he reaches 10 o'clock to the office. So his routine started at 3:30, 4 o'clock, So he catches the first train and gets up at Mumbai. In between, he plays cards or eats some breakfast from this guy and that guy, and they're discussing politics and about women and about drinking and so many things, depending upon the modes of nature they are into. And they are playing cards, rummy, this game, so that they can earn some 10, 20, 50 rupees for extra breakfast, tea. They put 10 rupees for one game, and then 4, 5 of them are gathered. Whoever wins, he gets 50 rupees. So his friends, he will feed some breakfast or some tea in the day. So like that, they spend time. So then he goes to work. There also he works like ass. That previously this file system was there. So many files used to be set on. Sometimes he has to take this file to his home. Nowadays it's like laptops and more his computers are there. So then he leaves his work at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then he catches the next train, again hurry-ups, and he eats little bit something or other. And then he rushes, and then he catches the train at 7 or 8 o'clock something, and then he reaches his house by maybe 6:37 he catches, and then he reaches 10:30, reaching his house 11 o'clock. And sometimes his children has not seen. This is the reality. One of the lectures, Prabhupada or Guru Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is saying that sometimes the children don't see his father only. If they are not seen constantly, who is this man? Like that, this question, isn't it? So like that. So they are working so much. But for what for? Some 100 gram or 150 gram of bread they have to eat. They can get the work in the city also. But okay, you are working for your family, you have family needs. So like as you are working hard day and night, but at least you should inquire, We go to these people and we try to give them devotional aspects via Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or we give them prasadam. Prasadam also they deny sometimes, So because, they are like asses and they all like this filth to eat. So like that, they work day and night, very hard they work actually. Sometimes 10 hours, 12 hours. I was working in one company and one day, this truck axle, I have done engineering and I had the person lower than me in education, he was also working and higher than me also was working. And we were working on a CNC lathe machine and truck axle was there. And there is a paddle where we have the sewing machine. And somehow I touched that, I wanted to go home that day and he told no, only few hours are left. And I was not feeling well also. Then somehow, my foot fell on the pedal and the axle felt on this, my nail is pressed that, and he came and he said, oh, I thought the axle felt. So he said, okay, lift. Come on man, you should help me. So he is not worried about me actually, he is worried about the axle. And then, my nail was totally pressed, blue and black it had, and then they let me go somehow. And from that day, I never turned in that company. That was the last day that I worked for them. Never I worked I did an engineering job after that. I did marketing and some other stuff and later Krishna's there. So like that, Prabhupada's one disciple was also working in a factory and he's saying that or sometimes the devotees, they feel, as soon as they come out of the work, they just want to leave that workplace. Because their nature is not like that, not like an ass actually. So they are quite intelligent and so they don't want to work there constantly. Of course, sometimes they are forced. But of course, sometimes devotees also don't understand his purpose. I know one devotee in Baroda. So his wife is working in Bhopal. He is working in Baroda. He has one property in Pune, one property in Baroda, one in Bhopal. But what is the use? Your wife is not one. Sometimes your children are with you. Sometimes it's your wife. What is the use? What is the use of such family life, She can get the work there also if she wants to work. So like that, Dushkrina, they are just working foolishly. Sorry, Moodas. Then another class of Dushkrina or miscreants is called Naradham. Very nice words, Naradham. The lowest of mankind. Nara means human being, and Adam means the lowest. Out of 84 lakh different species of living beings, there are 4 lakh human species. Out of this, there are numerous lower forms of human life that are mostly uncivilized. Civilized human beings are those who have regulated principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed, but who have no religious principle, must be considered Naradham. So, one who are, like there are, Prabhupada is saying 4 lakh different species of human life. So, some are uncivilized. Maybe they may be just, there are some tribes that are just living in the jungles and eating meat or animals, and they don't have anything. They don't have this knowledge of this, or they are not fortunate enough because of their activities in the past that they got such a body where their animalistic tendency is still alive in them, and they just got this human form somehow or other. And then they go on continuing that way. So normally it's said that when a person dies, if he's in a mode of goodness, normally, I heard this maybe in lecture or from some dude, I don't remember. So normally when he dies in the mode of good, normally maybe the previous life is that if he's an animal, he's like a cow or something like that, animal who is in a mode of goodness. And if he's like a tiger or something like that, then he gets this, in a human form, we see him to be having a lot of passion. And if he's like of piggish mentality, then he comes, in the mode of ignorance. If you see, nothing happens against Muslims, but if you see they don't have mushtaq, and if you see their faces, they're just aligned to a goat. If you see India, the goats, and virtually they look similar, because they've been cutting the animal so much time, so much meditation. Every festival they want to eat. Nowadays Hindus also, they are eating everything and anything. The Sunil was telling, one Brahman was there, when he came to the US, he was not eating anything. Now he's eating beef also, cows also they are eating. So they are fallen, we try to give them this knowledge, but they don't want to take. So now because of, so sometimes the Zushrishana go under the categories of Mudas also, because they fall down from their position. I heard Guru Maharaj one lecture, and he was telling that one Sri Sampradaya Vaishnava who was serving some temple, he was crying, he said, my son has gone to the West. Better he be poor in this and serve the Lord. So like that, this modern Macaulay education means this, like of course in the West it's not Macaulay, but in India. So this has made us so dependent that we, like after retirement also, people I have seen working. One day I was in Pune temple, and one old person I was speaking, then my subject came about Gorgram, where my son was that time in Gorgram. And I told that he is having this kind of education and no certification. Oh, what are you doing? He's saying, what you are doing to your son? Why don't you tell him, send him to school? What will he do in the future? I said, what he is doing now, he'll do in the future. Then I told him that even if tomorrow he becomes averse to me and he challenges me, my father has wasted my life, and he sues me. Like some intelligent guy in the West, he sued his parents, and it is your fault, you gave birth to me, and sued them, because you gave birth to me, because of your foolishness I have to live this life. Come on, man. So like that I said, even if he sues me, even if you go to the largest extent that my father has destroyed my life, still I'm okay with that, I said. At least till 20, 30 years, he will live such a spiritual life that, somehow or other, he will remember Krishna. At least he will remember Krishna every time and any time. So that will help him. So, but then I said to him, but now you see, you took this education, this British education, and now you are working. Even after retirement, you want to work. You don't want to come to the temple and do at least sitting, chanting, or do some services. So this is not, so like that. Now this person I was speaking, he was coming to the temple, so he had some, and so like that, these people, these Dushkritanas, they are social animals. They do some religious activities, some rituals also. There are many Christians, if we meet at the airport or anywhere, they said, I believe in Jesus. And he must have also having a bead with him. That they take Jesus' name, 99 names, I think so. 99 names of Allah, maybe 64 or something, I don't know the number of beads. Or they may have various things. They may quote something from Bible, but they don't follow the principle. So they don't follow. So they are this kind of dushkritinos, because if they are intelligent, they will accept this aspect that some guy is saying that, okay, these are the principles in Bible, and why don't you follow them and be a good Christian? We are not telling you to come this side of the boat, this side of the shore. But then he is not ready to listen. He is not ready to listen to the commandments, and this is, I don't follow the Old Testament, I follow the New Testament, and this and that. And in India, I ask them that if your neighbor is a Hindu, what will you do? You're so averse to me, and if your neighbor, then what? Thou shalt not love thy neighbor, you say in Bible. So then what is the principle? You're not ready to take this knowledge. What is the point then? So like that in India also, so many social religious people are there. They will do so much services also. And somehow if they, somehow or other they serve a devotee, then they get this chance of practicing pure devotion. That's what we say, that spiritual punya karma. Like yesterday I just got to, like sometimes in book distribution we get answers to all the questions that we don't get answers here, sometimes sitting here or... So we were just moving from this house where we second Bhagavatam, that good lady paid the whole amount and she was very pious. So before that, both ladies, they asked us, it's very cold and how come you people are, going around these houses, don't you feel cold? So they are worried about, this monks feeling cold. And then they took books also, and so they are asking us, they are worrying about us, that is the Agya Sukriti they are collected. Even if they have not taken this book many times. I remember once one person at Suida, I had just forgotten, I left I forgot things, so I brought my jacket and everything and left it maybe in the Prashadam hall or in the room only. And this guy, and it was very cold day actually, and he was asking, why don't you take this jacket and wear, So I said, no, it's not required. You can just take these books, that's more than enough. And then he gave a nice donation and he took books. So like that, just caring for the devotees or caring for the movement. Sometimes we met a man from Jaipur and he was saying that if any help you people require, he gave a donation and took books. You can always call me. He gave his number and he called. Means any help in the future if you require for construction. So like that you can always come. So that way, even if they don't read further, then still they'll get the chance. So further, the further category is this of the next class of Dushkritin is the Maya Vapruta Jnana, or those person who are erudite, whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusionary. They are mostly, so these are very intelligent people in the material society, philosopher, poets, literati, scientists, etc. So I already described them in the previous, when I introduced this verse, that they are making so many inventions, but then, their philosophy is just to, suppress the importance of God. And this category, Prabhupada wanted us to challenge. So he says that if you are a great scientist, why don't you make an egg, or why don't you make a drop of blood? So like that we should challenge them. Then there is this Dushkritina, last class of Dushkritina is called the Asuram Bhavashrit, or those who are demonic. This class is openly atheistic. So this class may be following, like Shishupal, he was also worshipping the form of, some form of Vishnu, maybe Shaligram or something like that, but he was envious of Krishna. So this class of people, this Asuram Bhavashrit, they may practice some form of spiritual aspects, or they may follow the scripture in some way, but they will be denying, or they want to be one with the Supreme Lord, or they may be envious of like Kamsa or Shishupal, or they may concoct their own thought process also, like we see this Swaminarayan. They were initially, the Swaminarayan was worshipping Krishna, but their followers is worshipping him now. So like that. In the case of Prabhupada just kicked some disciples who were propagating this knowledge that Prabhupada is the Supreme or he is God. So like that. So we are very fortunate to have such a Acharya who immediately rejected this idea, because if you make your Guru God, then someday you will also become a Guru or you may be somebody's guru, then you will also think that you are God. So this principle is very dangerous. So Prabhupada never let such principles enter. So this is a very lengthy description. If you go on, we can just talk on this for a whole day actually. So anyway, the other aspect that was discussed in this verse is that the situation of crossbreeding. So why this crossbreeding is not helpful? It is helpful. Like there are two ways in the Vedic scripture described, like Anulom and Pratilom. So Anulom is when the male or the father is from the higher varna. Like he is a Brahmana and marrying a Shudra or a Kshatriya's daughter, or maybe a Vaishya's. So that way, when the male is superior in varna, that is acceptable. But if the reverse is there, that is Pratilom. This is called Anulom. You can just remember this A is the beginning of the alphabet. So A, Anulom, means the higher side in marriage. And then there is Pratilom. So Pratilom is where the girl is a Brahmana and she marries a Kshatriya or a Shudra. So what will happen, in that case, this is not acceptable actually. Why this is not acceptable? Because normally the children, they get the father's name, and another thing is, womanly nature is, if she is given superior position, then it's her habit to control. Like we see, there is this case of Indira Gandhi in India. She had brought emergency. Emergency means she like total control on the state itself. She had brought at one place. So, and she will suppress her husband to that extent that, and if the husband is just tried with his senses to get sensual pleasure from her, then he will surrender to her, and there is no progress actually. So, this kind of marriage, crossbreeding nowadays, like even in India in Vedic times until date now, they didn't allow this crossbreeding. Like if you are a Maratha or if you are a Kshatriya, at least you should marry somebody, some specific, like example, my name is Harshal Dubal in the Karmi. So we have some certain categories like Patil, Yadavs, this, that. So, and with them only we can marry. So they find, because there is a perfect match they try to make. So this compatibility issues many times happen in love marriage or in the West or so many. This is because anybody is marrying everybody and anybody. So like that. So this all factors should be considered. So this nakshatra should be considered, the horoscope should be considered, and their nature should be considered. So many things are there. So astrological aspects should be taken into consideration. And the match should be where, the man should be guiding principle to the family actually. Because, and the woman should follow that man. That is the principle. People may condemn this, but this is true. Because the man should he should live on the principle of dharma, and the woman should follow him. And if the man follows, means the woman follows the man, the children also take this. Yad yad achati shreshta. Because for the woman, if the man is supreme and he is following dharmic principles, of course, so that time the children will also take that. Many times we see in India or many places, the father is paying obeisances or the mother, then even immediately the child also does. So this principle is very important. So, and we should be following, even a grasta should follow this principles very sincerely, and train his children right from small age, from 3 years, 2.3, he should train him to how to take bath, how should he clear himself. So I remember we trained my son, I trained him at 2.5 to take bath and wash his hand, and then how to pass and how to eat prasad. So it's very important. We should not neglect, because children catch like anything. That Guru Maharaj or something, this syllable, sometimes like telling this Panchatattva mantra, sometimes he says this Jai Shri Krishna, many people say. So one time Kunji Bihari was in book dictionary, saying you should not add this syllable. One devotee was saying this, Jai you should not be saying, it should be Shri Krishna. So he somewhere in Prabhupada's, somewhere we heard it. So like that. Means while chanting, you are saying. It's not bad in saying, but then, or once we are going on a bike and then I ask him, will your father go to the spiritual world? And we are on a bike and he said, yes. And then he paused and he said, but if you practice pure devotion then. So like that, they have their own good qualities and we have some gunas by which we begotten them. And like many times I get this into he could be his father or something. So we should train them. They get trained like, if you see, if I went to this park and small children, they are training them to baseball, to keep the baseball and go hit here and they are hitting and they are playing this. They are teaching their children right from a childhood. This, what is his name? One is Messi and the other is Ronaldo. Ronaldo doesn't have social media for his guy. Once he had opened an Instagram account and he closed that account. Immediately some lakhs of followers he got. Immediately closed the account. So he is making son so disciplined so that he becomes, good footballer. Or if in India they train cricket right from childhood. 5-year or 4-year boy is good in cricket. So they are giving their time. Why not we give time to our children? So like my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj was saying in a lecture that even with clothing or even with the language that they are learning, we should be very careful. Like sometimes the children are made to wear some tight dresses or short dresses, and then when she grows, then she questions, why you are shopping me now? So that is the parent's mistake. So like that, this aspect of marriage and every aspect is very important, like which kind of marriage it's happening, what kind of person is an association. So, and another thing is, Grihastha ashram requires a lot of tolerance. Yeah, you couldn't tolerate. So you have to be tolerant. Sometimes the wife may go wrong, sometimes the husband may go wrong. So tolerance is very much required, patience is required. Your kids, if you're not born them nicely, they will be horrible actually sometimes, They may put in this washing machine some stool and it spoil it, or break some things, or hit each other, or eat some, like in India, some guy, small kid, he had eaten some vessel and he died, and so it's very complex. If you don't be, it's like, it's like fire. If you don't be cautious, then it's like total destruction. I've seen devotees, kids, they have done Govardhan Parikrama and full Dandot Parikrama, children. But then after one of the parents have become loose in devotion, and after 18 years or something, I seen that guy smoking. So, no need of Dandot Parikrama, but teach him, and give them time. You have to give them time. Mostly parents don't give time to children. You give them time to learn, they are giving time to teach them baseball. So we should give time to our children to make them learn verses, or why we should have prasadam, and why you should not misbehave with devotees. So many things are there. And the last aspect here is discussed that the movement of the living entities in various spaces of life according to their particular modes of nature and work. So I've just taken up some time in the previous verse, so I'll just end in another 2 minutes. So Prabhupada's purpose answer all this question actually. So there is answer for this in this 13th chapter, 22nd verse. Purusha prakritostihi prakritistohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sadasad yoni janmashu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil amongst various species. So just giving a short example, like if water, it associated with we put a drop of red color, and then it becomes red. Yesterday I saw a recipe they were making beetroot dosa. So that was red dosa, because they had just beetroot. So that dosa is not beetroot dosa, except, but of course some taste will become. But they add beetroot, and so the color is coming, So like that, whichever gunas we associate, mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, then according to that we act in the different modes, and according to that we come in, we accept the different words or different karmas we perform in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, isn't it? So these modes are very powerful. So it's like, like how this AI is following us every moment on our mobile. So like that, material nature is following us every moment. Are we practicing the mode of goodness? Are we practicing hygiene? Are we practicing yukta ahar? Are we practicing, are we in the mode of goodness, or are we in the mode of passion? So it is following us, and according to that, we get affected by the three different modes. And then in that way we act, in a Brahminical nature, or in a Kshatriya nature, or in a Vaishya nature, or as a Shudra. So these three gunas, just in being in contact with that, Jiva is not, actually, he is not, he is pure, but just by coming in contact with that mode, he gets affected. But of course, that is because of his desire to lord out our material nature. Like if I want to learn some instrument, then I have to, come into contact with that instrument and learn the different ways that it can be played. Like example, mridang, like first I have to know this tare keta, and then I have to do practice and go further. My son taught me once, but 1 or 2 days I did in the end. So like that. So I don't want to associate with that instrument, and how come I will be, learning that? So similarly, if you don't associate with that mode, and if we are trying to gain the mode of goodness with everything, like being clean, or being like trying to learn the scriptures, or following our spiritual master, and taking that aspect seriously, then then it's like, we are not like how I didn't learn the instrument. So then that way, although the mode of passion and ignorance is all around us, we don't get affected. Of course, there is always in the scripture, it is said that the mode of goodness always has a tinge of passion and ignorance, or ignorance and passion, something is taking over. Like Prabhupada tells in the laws of nature that the guna is called ropes also. So ropes are formed, they take one thread, second thread, third thread. So one thread is of mode of goodness, second is passion, ignorance. So like that it is wound, and if you see Jagannath Puri Ras, this rope, you will not be able to cut it with the hand or something, easily with the knife also. So like that we are just bounded by mode of goodness, passion, like mixer we grind, like this. All the spices, you don't know what is mixed now, isn't it? What is this? What is this? This chole is made up of what you don't know. You have to, if you have knowledge, then you. So like that, at least devotees, they get knowledge, I am in the mode of goodness, or I am behaving in passion, and I should try to change myself. So once I asked Jayadeva Maharaj this question that about these modes, and then he said that at least you are understanding now, you are in this mode. Previously you are not understanding. So that's a good case actually. So devotees should, try to rise. So anyway, I'll end over here. So there is a lot to speak, but end over here. Anybody has any question, doubts, comments, any corrections? So please come with that. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question from the men? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, just on the topic of pratiloma and anuloma, I've never been able to understand. I've heard it several times, but about Arjuna and Subhadra. Whenever I would come across it, read it, the concept would just kind of like fly over my head. Arjuna, they were related.
So in what terms you have doubts like that sort of?
Well, it sounds like we were hearing about crossbreeding. I know it's not that. But whenever I read it, it's my own fault, but I've never been able to understand the concept.
Even if you take like Krishna, some places like he comes although he is a coward's son, but then he is basically the son of Vasudeva. So so they come in this category of Kshatriyas, isn't it? And Arjuna also is Kshatriya. So same marriages can happen. That is not a problem actually. So normally Kshatriyas marrying Kshatriyas is good. But the lower one means the reverse. Like if it's a Shudra, what is this? I think so. Yayati, na? He married Shukracharya's daughter. So that is, that category, that is a wrong one. But similar marriages can happen. Like it said that a Brahmana can marry 4 times, Kshatriya thrice, and Vaishya twice, and Shudra once. So Ramana, if he wants to marry a Shudra girl, then he should be, means the principle is like, how he's getting 4 times married, like first time with a Brahmana's daughter, or maybe then a Kshatriya, then a Vaishya, and then the same comes for Kshatriya, why he marries thrice. So like that, I don't feel anything contradictory like Arjuna's marriage is Subhadra. Like, even if they are Kshatriyas, so Kshatriya can marry a Kshatriya, so that is not wrong. But the crossbreeding we are talking of, so in that case, if it was, like the case of Shukracharya's daughter marrying, so that is wrong actually. Because normally, the child is known, means whatever qualities or whatever actions is going to do, it's like he's basically following the father's lineage. Yeah. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, it just seems a little odd.
Okay. He's asking because they're first cousins, like bodily relation-wise. They're cousins.
Yeah, means, I don't know, in India, various places, like in ours, they don't marry cousins, but in certain of them, they marry. So, like that. So, that way. In us, we don't marry cousins, whatever. Or it's like, in various places, it's not acceptable only. But, to get into the details, like how, means certain, or some of them, they do marry. I can marry my uncle, means my mother's brother's daughters or something. In fact, it's like they playfully call us, they will come with like I have seen this. They would come to, whenever we go to their place, they will come shy and they will talk like a wife to us, like that. So we can marry. So like that, cousins, maybe in that case, that doubt is there. So I have seen some marriages in Sanatana Dharma also like that. So
Crossbreeding to our understanding is like family.
no, it is family. Yeah, I said when I gave my example that we can marry certain within our caste also, like we are Shannokalu Marathas, means caste of Kshatriyas, like. So we can just marry certain in our, so in that, but it is again on the principle of Varna, if you take, it is marrying with a Kshatriya only. So certain people you can marry, certain we don't marry actually. It's not acceptable. So like that, in that case, like it's not basically a crossbreeding because it's on the principle of Varna it is taken.
The Gotras are understood also, right? They're in
Gotras also
separate.
considered.
Yeah.
Like Gotras also considered. Most Indians, many times their Gotra is written in their Kundali or else like that it is written. So like that. Yeah. So many aspects are considered. Various aspects, like even the Ganas are considered, whether it is Rakshas Gan or he is Manushya Gan. So like that, this is considered. Then Nadi Dosh is considered. Like Rakshas, a Rakshasa marrying, Rakshasa and what is it, Manushya Gan marrying, it's like, sometimes that is not, like it's not also, not sometimes, most of the times. So like that, or even Nadi Dosh is where most of the gunas, like they meet, and certain gunas, like sometimes the husband and wife, if they have Nadi Dosh, the gunas are so similar, Me and my wife have this Nadi Dosh. So sometimes I'm thinking that this Sunday I'll make chole. And she says, why don't we soak chole? And sometimes we are like totally opposite ends, south and north. Parrots you have seen, they fight like anything when they are fighting. When they are together, they are like, the supreme combination. So, but certain things, on the Nadi Dosh, if it is there, then they have problem procreating children, of their children are born. There will be problem, difficulties, means they may be handicapped or, or mentally retarded also sometimes. So, in the West, many times we see mentally retarded children, but there may be, if you go through the factors behind that, their marriage. So I have one of my cousins, she was mentally retarded and she died early, maybe 10, 15 years. But she was disturbed. So, I never checked. That time I was not a devotee. But it would be interesting to check whether they had Nadi dosh. So, various things are considered. This compatibility issue we talk about. Various things like, I know of one devotee, he had to go to jail because of his wife. I think so, Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu. He had to go. I think so. So, because, so anything can happen. Because as we know, according to the principle of karma, if your enemy is has so much hatred for you, he can come as a husband, wife, or his son also. Sometimes the son kills the whole family. Because recently read that because you're not allowed to play some video game, he killed his whole family. So he was an enemy, but who came as your son actually. Like many times in Muslims or anywhere it can happen. Even Christians, they torture their own children, or even in any society they can torture or kill them, or so many things they do naturally. So this is because, this cycle of karma is playing. So there are many factors in marriage actually. So in Vedic times, the parents used to choose. My father, when he chose for my sister, he checked everything, the lineage, where are they from, where they get married. They check, how is the girl able to cook properly? Just to check, because she'll be relating with household duties, and she should be doing that, because that is woman's nature. So, if a man should do his duty and a woman should do her duty. Nowadays, this role of reversal of roles, and this is causing problem actually. If you go a woman, if she is a firefighter, she will not be able to lift and go and rush like anything on the fire. So she has this nature given to become a mother and take care of children, and by that she is going back to God and taking care of the husband, following dharma in his guidance. Of course, the husband should also be following the principle of dharma. So all considerations are taken into care. Nowadays, they are not considered. Even devotees, they want, she should be with, I will work for this BVK's matrimony also. So they say, I want this girl and she should be educated and she should be working. So what you want? You want a worker, or you want a wife, or you want a husband? She wants a husband who is rich like Bill Gates and, beautiful like Mel Gibson, or, or a sprinter like, or he should be like sporting like any sportsman like Tendulkar. He should be a good cricketer. Everything he should have. But what are you? Are you that liable that you will get such a husband? So you should also become that. So like that, the Kshatriya marriages happened with Kshatriya because they wanted that kind of spirit only. Anyway, anybody else has any questions here, or the Matajis? Yeah? Yeah.
This is a question from Dirga Mataji. She said, she's typing. Anyways, what she wrote already is, does crossbreeding only apply to Indians? In the West, there's not really a standard, it seems. What about Westerners who are trying to follow Vedic culture? Is crossbreeding considered?
Yeah. The fire is fire in the West also, and in the East also, and in the North also, and in the South also. It will act. So this all principles, if you go to various places, like most cases of divorce happened and so many things happened because we just see the face or some things that are external, but everything should be considered. Isn't it? If I am cooking by mistake, if I add, sometimes we forget, I put salt, and I forget that, and again I put salt, what will happen? Salty, isn't it? Then you have to add so much potatoes and so much balance. So like that, in marriages also, we should take consideration of all these things. Prabhupada said Prabhupada's father said, Prabhupada, that he wanted to marry it second time because he was not compatible with this. So he said that it's better that you don't have a beautiful wife, In that way, it's very good for you to renounce. So we should look at what gunas and qualities are going to help us being with that person rather than the externals. Because externals will all, what will happen? After 1 year, they will be seeing, oh, this horrible person, he looks beautiful, but what he is, he made my life miserable. So then, what is the point? What is this? Your Hollywood superstar, Brad Pitt and what? What is that? Angelina. What is her name? So they got married and they got separated. They are so beautiful, they like each other, so much things, and then nothing is working. So compatibility, everything is going to work, So for devotees also we should, that's the reason we check astrology or we check the gunas, and suggestion are given by devotees, and we should also, everybody should check, like how, even for checking, for the spiritual master we should also do checks. So similarly for a husband with whom you are going to say 24/7 into 365, or a wife with whom you are going to be throughout your life, both children and be part of each other. So that should also be taken into consideration. Every aspect that we should also check all these aspects, isn't it? Does that answer? Can check. Yeah. So this all consideration should be taken, and we should pray to the Supreme Lord that if being a woman or man, if he is getting married, that please guide me in this principle, that I choose a person, and even if there is fallacies in that, still we can go. For that reason we should read scriptures. What is that? Chavan Muni and Sukanya, isn't it? Chavan Muni only.
Yes.
He was old, and so he was very short-tempered, and still, she surrendered to him, and later she got benefited. So, this is a Vedic example, but Prabhupada's own sister, she also tolerated, and many times we have seen that if you, like, family life means for the benefit of the family, that is basically the children, or even if they are not children, but you have decided to be with this person, then there is no point shifting from one person to another. God knows the next person will be too horrible. So it's not recommended actually. So it's, we should pray to the Supreme Lord that things, when getting into Grihastha ashram and after that also, and when we are in the ashram also. So many things are there. The Supreme Lord is there, He will guide us. The spiritual master is there. So we should seek blessings and practice devotion seriously. Then see, Krishna will send a serious devotee to us. That we have seen many cases. And sometimes it may fail. We have one god brother, Rohini Kumar Prabhu, his marriage failed twice, so it was maybe not in his stars to get, So, but still, if we are children in the future, we should continue for their purpose. And anyway, material world means always there will be friction. So even if you are alone, you will be, there will be friction in your mind or with about others. So always better to be tolerant. It's very easy to say better to be tolerant, but if at least after some time you should try and gain this tolerance. Hare Krishna. And over here, thank you.